Hello everybody, thank you once again for joining me for this special edition. I'm going to cover some of the Simic topics, and I'll show you the way I do it when I explore a new mechanic, especially with like new expansions with Ravnica Allegiance. Once again, we've got 5 mechanics, so this video is going to be all about the Simic mechanic of Adapt. My name is Justice, my handle is Sarcantuna. Do remember to subscribe for more videos like this. I do all the event videos, deck techs, I do all my open packs. I'm free to play, and as such, the pack openings are important to me, so I do show those off every week just to get a good look at them. So let's take a look at this Simic deck I've made. And again, this is what I do to get familiar with a new mechanic. And this one we're doing the Adapt, which is pretty basic. You pay some mana and they get bigger, right? The deck tech here, we've got 3 Terramanders. It's a 1/1 for 1 blue, it flies for 8 mana, 7 and a blue, right? Adapts for 4, so it becomes a 5/5 when it adapts. This ability costs 1 less for each instant or sorcery in your graveyard. Now initially this card looks pretty great, but I think this is a wonderful addition to Izzet, not Simic, but we'll see. I'm going to give it a chance. I haven't seen it adapt yet, ever, when I played it. And I think that's because it's mostly going to be an Izzet edition, but we'll check it out. I like Essence Capture. For 2 blue, it counters a target creature spell. Got 3 of those in here, and then you put a +1/+1 counter on a creature you control, which is nice because they all thrive on counters. There's a few other mechanics in here that this will make a lot more sense. I'm running Search for Escanta. Honestly, I'm not really sure why, but I think the digging might help. I'm playing blue, so I figured if I'm going to go for sort of like some control mechanics, then Search for wouldn't hurt. It's a 1 and a blue enchantment. At the beginning of your upkeep, look at the top card of your library, and then you can put that card into your graveyard. So it's sort of like a Surveil, right? If they had the mechanic, it would just say Surveil 1. Then if you have 7 or more cards in your graveyard, you can transform Search for Escanta into a land, and the land taps for a blue, or more importantly, for 2 and a blue, you can tap it and look at the top 4 cards, reveal a non-creature, non-land card, and put it into your hand. It's terrific card draw. And deck filtration. It's really nice. Some decks run 2 of these, so that way when you have the land out, you can play the enchantment and get the dual feature of it. But I'm only running 1. 2 Incubation Druids, so 1 and a green. It's an 0/2, and then it taps for any mana that a land you control could produce. If it's got a single counter, +1/+1 counter, then it adds 3 mana of that type instead, plus it adapts for 3. Now, if you put a counter on this, like with Essence Capture, for example, up here, it does get 1 counter on it, and that would make it a 1/3, and it would tap for 3 mana, but it wouldn't be able to adapt. Adapt does not work if they have a counter on them, so it's a little risky to do it that way, but I don't think I mind all that much. I'm running 1 Biomancer's Familiar. I only have 1, so I want to see how it works. Activated abilities of creatures you control cost 2 less. It's a green and a blue. This effect can't reduce the amount of mana below 1. And the next time target creature adapts, it adapts as though it had no +1/+1 counters on it. So you tap it for that feature, which is really nice later in the game. So you can tap your Biomancer's Familiar, and then any creature can adapt as though it has no counters on it. But I have the feeling that by that time in the game's virtually over. So I have it in there just to see how it plays out. 1 Combine Guildmage, green and a blue again. For 1 and a green, you can tap him, and this turn each creature enters the battlefield with an additional +1/+1 counter on it, which is completely counterintuitive to adapt. But for 1 and a blue, you can tap him and move a counter from a creature you control to another creature you control. So it's got some uses, but we'll have to see how this plays out, because I'm not sold on Combine Guildmage or Biomancers. But we'll see. For Growth Spirals, for a green and a blue, you draw a card, and then you can put a land card from your hand into the battlefield. The draw mechanic does happen first, and then after you draw that card, so if you draw a land, you can just play it. It's kind of nice. I'm running 4 Wizard's Retorts. It's a 3 casting counter spell, and does cost 1 less if you play a wizard, or if you have a wizard in play. There aren't too many wizards in here. This Combine Guildmage is a wizard. And he's one of the Gaia Engineers, a wizard, but I only have 1 of him. Other than that, it's just a regular counter spell. But on the off chance I have a wizard out, it costs 1 less. I'm running 4 Aeromunculus. This is the card I'm curious about. So it's a 3 casting, 2/3 flying. which is a 1, a green, and a blue. And for 4, it adapts to a 3/4, which is actually, for flying, it's a pretty powerful card. But I don't know. So I'm curious about Aeromunculus. I think it's going to be good. I'm curious about Gyre Engineer as well. Again, a 1, a green, and a blue. And it taps for both a green and a blue mana, so it's a pretty strong ramp. Combined with Incubation Druid, this will give me a lot of mana for the adapts. So that might be kind of nice. I'm also, just for fun, like Herald of Secret Streams, right? Like, did anybody else see this, where creatures you control with a +1/+1 counter can't be blocked? Like, this makes sense to me. They're all about to get counters on them, now they can't be blocked, so take all that damage. This might be... Actually, a lot of these Simic cards might find their way into a Merfolk deck. I think a lot of them are elves, though. Incubation Druid is an elf. Mutant. Combine Guildmage is a Merfolk. So there's some synergy here with like Merfolks and Simic, so that's kind of nice. Frilled Mystic is not a Merfolk. For some silly reason, it's an elf lizard, which is a Merfolk, right? Like elf lizard. Yeah, yep, it's a Merfolk. But he's not. It's also a wizard. I am running 4 of these. It's a counter spell. It's got flash, and it's a creature. So it feels like it's control, but I'm going to play through it and see what I like, see what I don't like, and then I'm going to take some stuff out, make some assessments. Zagana Utopian Speaker, a 2, a green, and a blue. When Zagana enters the battlefield, if you control another creature with a +1/+1 counter on it, draw a card. And for 6 mana, she adapts 4. And more importantly, each creature you control with a counter with a +1/+1 counter specifically has trample. So that'll be kind of nice. But again, I think, like with Kumina, like Merfolk's got a fatty upgrade. I think it's time to check that out too. And then I'm running 2 Vivian Reeds just because why not? I don't know. Oh, let's cover Vivian Reed. A 5 casting Planeswalker, 5 loyalty. The +1 ability is a fabulous dig for creatures or land. So you look at the top 4 cards. You may reveal a creature or land from among them and put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in a random order. For -3, you can destroy a target artifact, enchantment, or creature with flying. Fabulous flying removal. Love it. And her -8 ultimate ability is a game ender. You get an emblem with creatures you control. Get +2/+2, vigilance, trample, and indestructible. It is amazing. I've gotten that off a couple times before too. It's nice. I'm running 3 Galloping Lizrogs, also for 3, a green, and a blue. It's a 3/3 with trample. But when it enters the battlefield, you may remove any number of counters from any number of creatures, and if you do, put twice that many on the Lizrog. And it's got trample, so it'd be a huge with trample. It's pretty nice. And 1 Hydroid Krasis. I only have 1. It's a mythic rare. I don't want to spend too much on mythics right now. I want to give this set some time to get more familiar to me. The only mythic I could see spending wild cards on right now is Spawn of Mayhem. I think Spawn of Mayhem is super strong. Of course, Hydroid Krasis is very strong as well. I just don't know yet. So let's find out. 8 islands, 7 forests. I did get 3 breeding pools in my initial pack openings. So I do have 3 breeding pools in here, which is very nice. Normally I don't have that many. And so I really wanted to try some Simic Mechanics out because I was handed the land, right? It's going to take me 1 rare to get the rest of my breeding pools and then 3 for the Hinterland Harbors. And then my land base is there for, in theory, a very competitive Simic deck. So this might be where I end up. But we'll see. And then one Guild Gate and 4 Woodland Streams to kind of round out the rest of the mana base. So let's see how this deck plays out. We'll just do regular play mode. We will probably encounter a lot of mirror matches, probably a few matches versus Merfolks. But we'll see. Bravo! Alright, buddy. I see he's also rocking the Sarkhan Vol. Here's a question I have for myself. And this is why I do tests like this. Is it worth a darn to play Incubation Druid before Growth Spiral? I think I want to play Growth Spiral, right? because Incubation Druid will do the same thing. Well, but it's a creature. Incubation Druid gives me a creature out there. Yeah, I'm going to do it. Just in case this is like Orzhov aggro. It's probably Esper control, but we'll see. Orzhov is... Oh, this is a... Is it that gate deck? No, these aren't gates. Okay, so I've got an opportunity to drop my tap land and an Aeromunculus. Why don't we do that? And then I'll save Growth Spiral. Okay, cool. That makes sense to me now. So save the Growth Spiral. You don't have to throw it down right away. It's good card draw, if nothing else. Which is kind of nice. So you can save it. It's a Shama's Wavefinder. Abzan? Green, black, white? Interesting. Okay, so I've got my 4 lands. Now I could adapt my Incubation Druid. I could adapt my Aeromunculus, but I'm not going to do anything just yet. We are just going to attack for 2 and be happy about this. Now I could tap the Incubation Druid to provide the mana to adapt the Incubation Druid, right? So if he attacks, I could block. I could do this a couple different ways. So check this out. Why don't we block? And then in response to the blocking, we'll adapt. See how that works? So she taps to adapt, but then does the damage on top of that. It's a nice little combat trick. A lot of people forget about that. And now I kind of... It's not your fault. It's new. It's a new mechanic for everybody. Don't worry about it. I'm not really afraid of Knights of Autumn. He's probably going to put the counters on. That's just fine. Another gate that comes into play tapped. So I'm going to play the blue land just in case I get the chance to play the Growth Spiral. And now I will leave my Incubation Druid. But now my Incubation Druid taps for 3. So watch this. We're going to attack with our... Oh, he quits. Man, I wanted to see that play out. But, okay. We'll keep going. So far I like Incubation Druid. Actually, almost as a replacement to Druid of the Cowl and green ramp decks. Right? Yeah, that makes a lot of sense. Although it is a rare. I lucked out and got 2 of them. Okay, so... Yeah, wow. This will be a great sample of a hand. Search first, then Incubation Druid, and then if we pull off an Essence Capture into a... Now Essence Capture, though it's 2 blue, with Incubation Druid out, I could cast it on Incubation Druid, and then Incubation Druid tap for 3 mana, and then that would give me a big fat Hydroid Krasis pretty early. We'll play a tapped Breeding Pool. I like having the option there, that's kind of nice. This feels like a very powerful hand. We'll see what we run into. Of course, we might end up discarding the whole thing, so that could happen. Well, you know what? No reason to play around anything at this point. Just get the search out there. If I didn't have these in the deck, I could go straight into Incubation Druid. We will library the Essence Capture. Oh, show. And we'll play a blocker. Who also flies and deals with Afterlife kind of nicely. That's unfortunate, so I didn't save enough mana to counteract that garbage. Okay, so I've got to get the Essence Capture down, which I can cast. Oh no, I can't. Tithe Taker is terrific. And they stack. Joiks. Okay. Doesn't lifelink. I'm not really worried about it right now. Yep, we will definitely hang on to a Vivian Reed, cast it. We will take out the dude we don't like and save a blocker. Odds are he throws both Tithe Takers at her. That's what I would do, anyway. Unless he's got a Vraska's Contempt. It looks like he doesn't have that, or else he wouldn't be attacking with both. But I cannot let him keep these because it's killing my counter spells in a very unfortunate way. Afterlife I don't much care about. You can go ahead and have that. And hopefully I can get an Essence Capture out, or otherwise. Yeah, I like Growth Spiral. Okay, neat. So Search for Escanta is not doing anything for this deck right now. Good to know. Okay, I'm not going to attack. I will take a typical control turn and wait for my opponent to make a move. I can counterspell one thing. I could even Growth Spiral's extra expensive. I could block and kill. I could counterspell a creature. I could adapt. So, a lot of options. I think he knows that. Why don't we Growth Spiral? So far, I'm just drawing with Search For. If I play the Engineer, I cannot counterspell something, and I really want to try this counterspelling business. So, I will wait. This Tithe Taker is absurd. Okay, so Tithe Taker goes in mono white from now on. That guy's amazing. It's the answer for control decks right there. There's two of those guys that come down and mess with the business. I don't think he's ready to... Okay, so it's my turn. I'll go ahead and adapt. It gives me a ton of mana. Oh, I... 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, okay. Is that not enough? Am I counting this wrong? Oh. Abilities cost one more. That's amazing. Wow. Okay, so Tithe Taker is wonderful. We'll dig with Vivian Reed.
My newest friend.
I should be able to come across Herald all over again. So I'm not super worried about putting him on the bottom of my library, and I really want this forest right now because I'm getting kind of mana punctured slightly. And I want the extra mana so I can adapt my Incubation Druid. Play some of these other creatures. I can't counterspell anything, so the counterspells actually also are not conducive. Of course, I might have played Vivian Reed a turn too early. I probably could have waited. But I'd like to see him start tapping these creatures down and trying to make a play. So Vivian also acts as subtle pressure, where now he's got to think about solving that Planeswalker, because in 3 turns, she ends the game by herself. If I get that emblem off, the game is over. So he might have a Vraska's Contempt or something to that effect. I don't think there's too many other just destroy Planeswalker cards out here. I'm actually totally okay with that, dude. Does he Afterlife for 1? Well, obviously I'm blocking the Tithe Taker down, because he was super annoying.
That, huh?
It's almost like you don't want to attack with Tithe Taker, you know, because you want that effect always happening. Now we will draw a card. Not draw, but dig.
Balance comes.
Okay, good. I will grab a Guild Mage. So I've got plenty of mana now, right? In theory, so I could drop a Gyre Engineer. Well, I can't. Okay, so I don't want to play my Guild Mage because then I couldn't play an Essence Capture. So why don't we hold off and we'll save our Aeromunculus to use as a blocker. And plus I'm also curious about how some of these other cards are going to play out. Well, okay, so Ethereal Absolution kills my Gyre Engineer. But nobody else is threatened by that. Does he attack now and risk his tokens? He does. Yep, so I block. Right. Vivian takes 2. I'm okay with that.
Strike me, and you strike nature.
More forests, that's okay, because I've got my digger.
You can't stop nature.
So far, the strongest part of this deck is Aeromunculus, Incubation Druid, and Vivian Reed. Seems to be working pretty good. Guildmage is okay. Not quite ready for Hydroid Krasis because of my Incubation Druid is not adapted yet. But I do like Combine Guildmage down. See, I could move the counter from Aeromunculus to Incubation Druid. Get the mana ability out of... Okay, here we go. Actually, this looks pretty strong too. No attacks. I'm going to save the blocker. Save my Essence Capture. Hopefully he casts a creature spell and not another Ethereal Absolution. I would be so disappointed. Okay, so now we will Essence Capture Rakdos. Target my Incubation Druid. Incubation Druid gets the counter. Unless he saved a counter spell for my counter spell. Then we get to see what Rakdos can do. Okay, good deal. Ritual of Set. That is not fabulous at all. And I do have Vivian Reed to kill his Ethereal Absolution. At this point, why? Let me see if I can hide this camera real quick. Oh, there we go. Right on. And we're back. Alright. So because I have a tapped land, I want to save that for my Hydroid Krasis. And now I can't... Why don't we just adapt him? Yeah, okay. So this would be a 6/6. Okay, he's losing that enchantment post-haste. Yeah. This isn't gonna... This is unacceptable.
Sometimes restoration means retribution.
6, so I'm gonna go for 7. I won't attack. Just because I'm not ready to yet. I think this is okay. I don't like tapping out for creatures like that, especially because he's playing black. And Hydroid Krasis would be killed by Ritual of Soot. That is terrible. What do we do about flyers? Well, okay, that's why that Prophet gets killed. He's got the City's Blessing. Okay. Well, I guess we just sit there with a big old flyer and win the game. Now, I don't feel like these plays are as powerful as they could be, especially given that I'm just trying to feel my way through Simic, but it still feels very powerful in terms of having your creatures out there and then they grow, and then I think there's probably... So far, I've cast 0 counter spells. No, I did counterspell Rakdos. So it's worth having some counter magic. I haven't yet got Galloping Lizrog out there. So Galloping Lizrog actually looks like the weak link. So maybe he comes out, then more of the cheaper cards go in. Sorry, dude. I love this on paper, but what I mean on paper is I love this in theory, but does not look like it's going to play out that way in practice. Tap land, play our forest, play our... You know what, may as well play the Growth Spiral. We'll play tap land anyways. Hinterland Harbor comes into play untapped, so that'll be my next turn play. If he's doing counters merfolks like Simic style, he could win. That could be a better deck. Jungleborn is strong with Deep Root. Yep. Nice punch to the face area there. I don't like that at all. Now here's the thing. Do I Frilled Mystic and then block? I think I do. I think I do. So I'll block whatever he does with Frilled Mystic. Oh, well, I'll counter whatever he does with Frilled Mystic. And then hopefully block his Deep Root Elite, who, yep. And I'll point to the merfolk. I'll take action. You don't get no Mist Binder. No way. Okay, he does. Alright, that's terrific. Now what you do is you put that counter on... he really can't make a bad decision. I'd put it on the Hexproof, just to have a 3/3, a 4/4, and a 3/3. You don't want to attack with your Mist Binders ever. Even with 2 4/4s, pretty good option. I'm going to take the damage. So this is strong. Maybe I'll gang block. Let's see what happens here. Maybe I could counterspell a creature with Essence Capture and make my Frilled Mystic a 4/3 and sneak away with a blocker, and I can. But he also went first with his hand, so this would be a pretty hard draw to overcome with a lot of other decks anyways. Yeah, put it on the Herald, he's unblockable. That's what you want to do. And I don't have anything in this deck to deal with this. Well, yeah, I'm blocking. Or else I'm gonna die. There go my wizards. I can't adapt. I think we're stuck. I think this is it. This is 4 coming my way, at least. Okay, that's fabulous. This is ideal for merfolks right here. How the hell are we gonna do? Well, he's 1. There's nothing I can do. Okay, that was fast. We still have no hope of adapting. Well, here's something. If we didn't get beat so bad, this adapt now costs 6. We can even adapt him for 6. That's the first time I've adapted a Terrimander. I mean, that's not awful. He got the world's perfect hand here, so I can't be too upset about that. Well done, Merfolk man. Okay, so he's... Well, we'll give it to him. This is going to be pretty satisfying for him, so I don't... Sometimes, if I'm feeling generous, I don't concede. I just let them swing in for lethal and be happy that their deck worked so well. Yep, perfect. Oh, just the 1? Okay. I tapped out on purpose. That is a pretty tough draw to overcome without some sort of mass removal there. And there isn't a lot I could put in this deck in the blue and the green space that could deal with that. I just have to get to it faster. So that's something. Galloping Lizrog looks like it's the weak link, which is unfortunate. I was really hoping that would be a really strong kill card, but not all that strong. Sorry, dude, you're just not all that strong. Another Biomancer. Activated abilities of creatures you control cost 2 less. That looks great. Seriously, it looks great. Hopefully he doesn't die. Although he's a pretty fat target, right? So they're trying to kill him as fast as possible. It's not an activated ability, so maybe I can hold him for a couple turns. We've got green down. Obviously from our opponent here, he's got a forest, so we know he's playing the least of greens something here. Maybe he's going for Gruul. Of course, you never know. Green is like in every deck right now. Yeah, Golgari maybe. Elves maybe. You never know. Alright, so let's do an island. So here's a downside of Essence Capture. I don't want to play it without a creature down, because then a creature can't get the benefit of me playing it. That's tricky. So it's not the fastest counter spell that we have in the deck. And now here comes something heinous. Of course I'm not blocking. I'll take the 2. Jade Light, that could have been worse. This is strong though, boy. Wow. Okay. That does work. We will go with a tap land this turn. And the only thing I'm interested in counterspelling is a creature. So he might play another Swamp and then a Ravenous Chupacabra. I'm going to take 4, hopefully for the last time. Another Jade Light, I will happily counter that. Make my Biomancer's Familiar a nice blocker for next turn, so now he's not going to mess with me. Wow. Didn't think that was all that scary. What am I missing here? Why are they just quitting? Do they think I'm playing a different type of deck? Maybe they do. Maybe they think... I don't know if there's a deck out there that does this, that this imitates, but that did not look like a play at which a person should concede. So, sometimes it's worth sticking around for a couple of plays, even if you're frustrated. Just stick around, see what your opponent's got. I don't think I had too much in my hand that was very scary, but maybe he didn't have anything but land in his hand either, and that could have sucked. Yeah, if you got 5 lands and your Jade Light Ranger draws you 2, I would have been pissed off about that. Alright, I am on the play. Oh boy. 2 growth spirals and 2 islands here? That is not gonna work. Not gonna work. Okay, we'll let the mulligan or the scry help us out. Nope, that goes to the bottom. Tap lands, here we go. Okay, so if he plays a scary creature, he's doing what I'm doing. This is Simic. This isn't Simic, this is probably a gate deck or something silly, and we'll go to Growth Spiral. Awesome. We got the island. Another gate. That works. I can counterspell a thing. And these Wizard's Retorts are just open counterspells for me. Oh wow, okay, we'll do 3 of them. Maybe I'll play the Frilled Mystic without having a spell to counter just to do it. Maybe I won't. Yeah, I've got to play something, dude, so I'm going to go ahead and counter your Circuitous Route. So. Breeding Pool, I'm okay with that entering tapped. Just because even if it's untapped, well, maybe I could have done... Nope, I can do 2 and 2, so I'm fine with that. Circuitous Route. This is going to get countered again. Just because I have the free counter spells to do it, and he's tapping out trying to get more gates. He's obviously playing a gate deck, so I'm not really worried about him doing too much else. I might want to save my Essence Capture for the Gate Breaker Rams that are coming up. He's going to have that enchantment like the Gate Colossus. So you get Essence Captured, my guy gets a little bigger. Gate Colossus is really strong. Growth Spiral into an island. Island goes down. That's pretty nice deck filtration too. I'm going to go ahead and play my familiar. If nothing else, it gives me an extra 2 damage in theory next turn, so I could get him down to 7. My Frilled Mystic doesn't adapt anyways, so maybe these 2 counter spells can help me win this game. Gate Colossus is nice. Okay, yep, we will counterspell that for sure. He's got 3 mana. Okay, we're counterspelling that too. I don't want to lose creatures right now. That's all I got, and now I'm out of cards. So this is where my setup here fizzles really nicely. Herald of Secret Streams all of a sudden doesn't matter one bit. He doesn't have creatures, but now he's got to resolve it because my Frilled Mystic is unblockable for 4 damage. But I think he's going to have plenty of options. He's running Gates Ablaze, Deafening Clarion. I don't think he's playing any black. Yep, that's game. This is 8 damage. He's at 7. Oh no, he could play the Colossus, couldn't he? Okay, so the adapt on my Incubation Druid is 3, right? It's only 3 mana. And if I still have my Herald of Secret Streams out, he's also unblockable. Can't block. I can take 8, I don't care. I can take 10. Yep. That was sneaky. I like Herald of Secret Streams. Is anybody seeing that too? Where you can sneak in and it's unblocked and you can get in there? So, alright, it does look like it's pretty strong. I'm going to take one more look at this deck and see what changes I'll be thinking about here in the future. Galloping Lizrog is out. Everybody else showed up and makes a lot of sense, but Galloping Lizrog is out. Even Terramander seems to work with Growth Spiral. Alright, I'm on board. So I'm going to take out Galloping Lizrog in favor of... Now, I'm not going to do this right away, because I want to wait and see what my wild cards are going to be best used for, but I would strongly consider Biomancer's Familiar. Combine Guildmage looks like it makes a whole lot of sense, moving counters around to try and maximize your adapts. Actually, it doesn't. I don't think I would have any more Guildmages. I would just go with Biomancer's Familiar. Yeah, and another Herald of Secret Streams. That's strong. Zagana never showed up, but I think if Zagana did, it would have been strong as well.
Yep.
Cool. Overall, it was pretty strong. I like the way this worked out. So, yeah, I'm gonna keep thinking about Simic over here and what we can do with it. So thanks so much for watching, guys. I do appreciate it. All the support I've been getting. If you've been with me all this time, remember to subscribe and follow along. I will show you how to build a great collection on a budget. Thanks so much. Have a good time playing.